guys, welcome back to this channel. Today I'm going to be giving you guys some tips that I use, more so lifestyle tips that I use on what helps me as a parent, as a student, be able to have at least a 3.7 or a 4.0. That's what I'm working towards. So good grades in school. Guys, why is it important to get good grades? Because God gives us a spirit of excellency. And it's important that whatever you do it unto the Lord, and you do it with just this passion and this zeal and just this love, right, for what you're doing. And these tips will help not only better your just performance in school, but your life, okay, altogether. So the first tip, which I am going to be making a video on, secondly, but the first tip is to create a schedule, and that's implemented with a calendar, okay? You can go to any supermarket or any Walmart or whatnot and get yourself a really big calendar. If you don't, honey, get you a piece of paper and make your own calendar. Like, use what you have, you know? So get yourself a calendar and write down per day what classes you have to take, what chapters, what assignments are due, what days, what tests, group projects. All of these things should be broken down, which I will make in another video because I color code things, and I also use this calendar for bills, anything like that. But get yourself a calendar. Why does a calendar help? Because I'm a visual person, and I'm sure you're watching this video and you see how cute this top is and this earring's popping. So that means you're visual too, okay? So we can be visual together. Get yourself a calendar so when you wake up in the morning, you see what you have to do. That way when you cross it out, you're like, okay, I already did that. It's like that little sense of accomplishment that keeps you motivated, and it makes you feel like you've done something, you know, that's progressive to what it is your college goals are. The second tip that goes with the first tip is, if you do have a phone, I suggest that you also set times, like a timer. So from 8 to 10, if I have a psychology class, then I have a timer for 2 hours. Once that 2 hours is done, my timer goes off and I'm on to the next. This allows me to keep like some type of time management with like the accountability of like, oh, I'm not just sitting down and watching TV, because if you are online, it's easy to get distracted, okay? And so you want to set a timer for leisure time, you want to set a timer for cleaning time, you want to set a timer for cooking time. All of these things will help get your time management in check and allow you to be on task with whatever it is in your calendar or whatever it is that you need to accomplish for that day, okay? So another tip that I really wanted to talk about is using resources from your school. Why is that important? Mental health is very important right now, and it doesn't matter where you are in the spectrum of mental health. It's always good to communicate with someone who isn't biased and who doesn't have history with you, your journey, whatever the case may be. It's sometimes nice to get an outsider's perspective on what it is that we're going through and how we can cope with things. So I think most colleges do have free mental health or therapy provided. If you don't know, you should know, and you should inform yourself. I myself am going to free therapy sessions through my own school, and it is such a pivotal tool. I've seen so many changes and positive things that have happened for me just in the span of a month of going to therapy, and it's free, okay? So I think that's another tip that you should use. A third tip would be to look into campus resources regarding employment. It's important that we have a job that, especially as a single parent, that doesn't get in the way of us just being a parent. And 9 times out of 10, if you are in school and you do have a job, you know, it's you really can't have both, you know. Sometimes most jobs will be like, well, you gotta go pick up your kids, like, yeah, okay, you know. And for me, I'm a single parent, meaning I have no other options. All they have is me. I have to pick up my kids, I have to drop them off, I watch them, I do everything. I am a single parent, okay? There is no drop the kids off at grandma's, I want to have a night out. No, none of that. I'm with them, they're with me. That's all they have. And so looking for a school job. They do, if your school does have school jobs, or if you don't even know, I suggest that you look, because it's important to network and get to know like the people that are in the system, in the educational system. You just don't know who you'll meet along the way, who they know and who that person knows, and how the dots connect. You don't know how God works in mysterious ways. So it's important to at least put yourself in a position where you start to get to know, because you'll be going to college at that university for so long. You might as well know the people there, and it's good. It creates support services. Another reason why is because, having going to college is a resource. It's not an oppression. So going to school shouldn't oppress you. It should be a resource for you. And, when you get a student job, they work around your schedule because school comes first, versus you finding a job and it's kind of like you just have to just go with the flow and then somehow be a parent and somehow do all of this stuff, cook, clean the house. Go look for a job at the school, even if it's a secondary source of income. Usually 9 times out of 10, it's flexible enough for you to work, even if you're working part-time. And if not, they do have paid time study, whatever the case may be, federal work study. Yeah, so that would be another tip. Another tip that I really wanted to talk about would be cooking. Okay, as a beautiful BBW queen, honey, I do not cook. I feast. Okay, so eating to me and cooking to me is therapy. Granted, I'm not codependent on it, or nor do I have a food addiction. I just enjoy the process of cooking. I think it's another way for me to be creative, and I enjoy feeding my children with nourishing food. And because I love to cook, they love to eat and they love to cook too. So 9 times out of 10, I'm not cooking canned or processed food. I'm cooking food that is fresh, and it takes time. There's nothing that I cook that's just like 30 minutes and that's it. I probably cook meals that require attention and care, and it comes out in the food, and that's what I enjoy. That anyway, without me ranting, cooking is vital because it takes up a lot of time as a single parent or as a parent. And honey, we don't have all the days in the world to be Martha Stewart. So I suggest that you invest in some type of Instapot or crock pot. This helps cut down time. Along with the calendar, you can plan out your meals or budget it out and figure out which days you want to cook this, what days we're going to have leftovers. It kind of just helps your overall lifestyle, because you're still getting the food that you want to eat, and you're not spending all day at the grocery store. If you forgot certain things, make a list, get it together, like figure out what is it that you love to eat during the week, what is something that you love to cook, what you can put in the Instapot to cut down time. I have a class from 3 to 6 on Wednesdays. That means from 3 to 6 p.m. I cannot do anything but be in that class. So if I know I have a class from 3 to 6, that means, hey, I'm going to set my meal up early during the day, so by the time it's 6 o'clock, the girls have a delicious meal, and I can just easily give them their food without me having to disrupt what I'm doing. Okay, and so finally, my last tip would be to definitely prepare for progression and not for maintenance. And what do I mean by that? I think it's important that everything that I talked about, right, it's to help us to better our lives so that we can focus more on becoming a better student. And I feel like if we are able to prepare things ahead of time so that, it's progression towards the betterment of everything, all aspects of our life, whether it's nourishing ourselves, whether it's our relationships with our children, whether it's getting in the morning and the night before, getting the coffee pot ready, or making sure that their hair's together the night before, so that you just have to do touch-ups. Those things do count, and they help with the overall fluidity of your day. And having that progression that preparation for progression, rather than just like waking up in the morning and like, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, and just being so flustered and all over the place. It's like you're just barely making it. You're just maintaining what you have, when no, you want that spirit of excellency. You want to be able to progress and not just be stagnant and skim by. So yeah, I think I'm going to be making videos on how I do my calendar for next month, how I get that together with my time management, as well as meals that I prepare with the Instapot. And I hope anybody has watched this video that you kind of learned from what I'm saying. I right now am transitioning with school. It's one chapter that's done and I have another chapter left, and it's kind of like I'm excited, nervous, and just rejoicing all in the same time. You know, with school, it's kind of like you gotta figure out who you are and what you're doing it for, because if you're going to school for a piece of paper and that's all you want to get from school, then you've missed the whole process. School is the crying, the tears, the stress, the happiness, the good grades, the bad grades, the learning. It's learning about who you are as a person. It's the character carving, and it just forms you into this better version of yourself, but you still have to respect and honor who you are in the process. And that's the journey of college, you know. And I think even though we are all going to school collectively to get a degree, it's okay if you want to veer off on other things as well. Like if you have your hand in different honeypots, if you find out that you like art, if you find out that you like ceramics, if you find out that you love music, if you find out that you like to sew, like, you don't have to be in a box. You can still have this one thing that you love to do and also nurture other things. But if you are going to nurture other things, in the process of filling up one pot, make sure that everything is prepared for that one pot to be filled. Don't just be careless with one thing just to turn to something else. You know what I mean? So I hope this helps whoever watches this video. Until next time.